Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I'm going to do is talk about dream watches that a lot of the collectors say, oh boy, I would love to have one of those, but I can't afford it. And then we're going to look at some more affordable alternatives. Now the prices I'm using as much as possible are the MSRP prices, or the retail prices. But some of these are not too realistic because the watches are in such high demand. They usually, even the MSRP, they either charge a premium or they're simply not available, and somebody buys them and sells them for a lot more. But we're going to pretend like you can actually get some for the price. Okay, so let's get started. The first one I want to start with is a Rolex Daytona Cosmograph. Now, this is one of the most famous chronograph watches in the world, and it's very high in demand. Now, on the Rolex site, this one it's steel, or what they call Rolex steel, Oster steel, $15,500. Now, I don't think you can find one unless the AD is just thinks you're the most wonderful person in the world and has one for you. But we'll just say we'll use that as a starting point. And so in looking for some alternatives, there are lots of alternatives that are far more affordable. Now on the high horology level, you have the Parmigiani Tanda Metrograph. Now this one is literally almost at half price. Brand new. I found this one on the watch outlet. I probably mentioned it several times. It's really a wonderful watch. It was down. I think it was almost down to four something, and I guess somebody listened to me. But at around $7,000. That's half of what the chronograph, even at that price, would cost. Fantastic watch. Now, if you really want one that actually looks more like the Daytona, the Tissot PR 516 chronograph is a nice alternative. That one is only $1,895, just under $2,000. Okay, moving right along here. Now, the next one is sort of a plain, perhaps fast and loose with certain definitions. The A Lange und Stunde Lange 1 time zone. Now, this one, I found this one for $30,000, and I don't know if that was the list price or secondary price or what it was. Most of them seemed a little higher than that. That's why I say that. And if you go to the A Lange und Stunde site, they say, call us and we'll give you the the price. Anyway, well, I found this one. It was listed as $30,000, and that's a lot for most of us anyway. And so I thought, well, I'll take a look at some other ones. Again, starting with sort of a higher level, high horology. The H. Moser et Company Heritage Dual Time, one of my favorite dual timers. Now, here you have time zone referring to more, almost like a world timer on the A Lange, but we're just talking about more than a single time zone, and a GMT watch or a dual time watch will work well. The reason I like the H. Moser is, first of all, Moser makes excellent watches. And now the price on this is in Swiss francs, 19,900. Now, what that will be at your AD here in the United States, I'm not sure, because the dollar has been dropping against the Swiss franc and just about everything else ever since they had the tariff thing going on. But anyway, a wonderful watch, 19,900. You say, wait a minute, that's expensive. Yes, it is. It is expensive, but it's 10,000 less than 30,000. All right, another one, and I talked about this one recently, is the Tutima Patria GMT. Now this one I found for 9,900. That is, even $10,000 less than the Moser and $20,000 less than the Lange. A really top quality watch. So you have some alternatives to that. Now, of course, if you want to find something with dual time, there are a whole lot of other ones that are cheaper that you can find as well. Of course, and also the two that I mentioned, and the Lange itself on the pre-owned market, again, you can find some good deals. Also, wherever you see it says suggest a price, suggest a price. Okay. Next is a regulator. Now, a regulator, I don't know how most people feel about regulators. To me, they're cool, but I don't know why. I just, something that I wouldn't want to wear one all the time, but I have one in my collection, and that's where it stays in the collection. I got one for $200 from China just so I could check off regulator. But I would love to have a Laurent Ferrier Ecole regulator. That I would really like to have, but I don't have 55,000 Swiss francs, right? Or at least that I could spend on a watch. A beautiful watch, love the watch. And so I started poking around. And one of the ones I found right off the bat I really like, and this is a Louis Arand Le Regulator with Stefan Kadoki. And I thought, this is really a nice, a very nice watch. I mean, I like the style of it. You can really see the Kadoki style in this watch. $52.50, very much less than $55,000. And I like the green version. They have it in different colors, but you can find a lot of those. Just do a search on Louis Arand Le Regulator X Kadoki. Now, if you really want to save some money, I found this Hamilton Jazzmaster regulator on a place called WatchMax for $7.95. I think there were some other things if you do and have a secret code to give you some more discount on it. It was the last one in stock, so I don't know if it's still there or not. But now, see, you could. So there's a far more reasonable, and I really like it. I forgot what the MSRP was of that Hamilton, but it was a lot more than $7.95. Okay, off we go again. Now, this next one, this is a hard one to find anything that is, real money saver near the non-used market, and that's a perpetual calendar. Perpetual calendars are super expensive, and my absolute favorite is the H. Moser et Company Endeavor Perpetual Calendar Tantalum Blue Enamel. Now they have one, I think it's not blue enamel, it's something else, and it's less than 75,000 Swiss francs, but not a whole lot less. Okay, so, but I really like it. One of the things is that it's got so many little features to it. There's a little stub of a pointer right in the center there. You have the big long minute hand and the hour hand, and then there's this little bitty one. That is for the month, and this is a great watch. It really is. And of course, there's the date, and this is good for 500 years. They have these incredible watch for Perpetual. They're not kidding. Okay, now one of the most famous ones is much more affordable, still expensive. Is one by Oaks und Junior, and Oaks und Junior it's a company, it's a German company, and they have this perpetual calendar by Ludwig Oechslens. He's the designer. This guy, Dr. Oechslin, I probably mispronounced the name. This watch, I think they use 9 or 10 parts to add the perpetual calendar to it. Patek Philippe added over 200 on theirs to get a perpetual calendar. These are really unique and very interesting watches, and it takes a while to learn how to tell the time in terms of a perpetual calendar. I mean, the hour and minute are pretty obvious, but the other parts of it you have to learn what you're looking at and so forth. This one is 21,743 Swiss francs. That was a lot more than I expected. I thought it was going to be a much better deal than that. I mean, it's a good deal, but that price is still high. So, again, this is a perpetual calendar. I did find one that I like for at least under 10,000, and that's the Frederick Constant High Life Perpetual Calendar Moon Phase. It's $7,400. Now, compared to 75,000 and even to 21,000, that's really a good deal. But it's not cheap. I mean, $7,000 for a watch is hefty. But one of the things about Frederick Constance, they do tend to have a lot of watches that are priced more toward your collectors, and they have some nice ones too. So that's one that, if you're looking for a perpetual calendar, you might want to seek out. Now, this next one is more me perhaps than everybody, but it's this Christian van der Klaauw Real Moon Jaune, and it has a little three-dimensional moon down there at 6 o'clock that you can turns around. And Christian van der Klaauw watches are really just gorgeous. They're just beautiful watches. Now, this one is 35,900 euro, and again, this is a pretty hefty price on that. And so I thought, well, let's see some alternatives. Now, I didn't want to just go out and get any moon phase. I wanted to find something that was interesting. The first one is there's a Finnish watchmaker, Sarpaneva, and he has these watches with these great big moon phases that are like, what are you up to, glaring at the viewer. Now this one is 19,000 euro. Again, this is no bargain basement bargain, but it's a lot less than 35,000, or almost 36,000. So finally, looking for one that does come within at least hand grenade range of a budget, and one that is an interesting moon phase, is the Schomburg Blood Moon Meteorite PVD. The dial has a meteorite dial. Then it's got this red blood moon. It's got a serpentine second hand. It's an interesting watch for a moon phase watch. And the moon phase aspect of it is the feature of it. 4,990. Now again, these are all MSRP prices. What they are on the pre-owned market, it's all over the map. And a good watch collector enjoys going hunting for one. Now, the final ones, I have one, the FP Journe Chronomètre Souvenir Havana. This is one of my very favorite watches. This particular one is in platinum. They also have them in gold. Now, 45,000. It's really hard coming up with the list price on this watch. Apparently, it's very, very popular. I was looking around. I saw another one on the used market for 89,000. So I figure, okay, this is not an easy watch to get your mitts on. And there are a lot of things to it that go beyond just the one aspect I wanted to look at, and that is the power reserve indicator. I have the original one, which is pretty much like this, except it's the platinum with a white dial, but it has a power reserve indicator over there right at 3 o'clock. And it's sort of a cool thing. It's hand wound, and so that becomes very important for a hand wound one. So I thought, well, let me find the coolest power reserve one. Now, one watch I've always liked a lot is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Ultra Thin Power Reserve. Power Reserve is right in the name. And right about 10 o'clock, they have the pivot point for the power reserve indicator on it. See, you get the thing all wound up. The little subdial up at 2 o'clock is a hand date, and then of course the small seconds down at 6 o'clock. $10,000. This is MSRP. You can find some good buys on this watch if you look around for them. I think it was something like it was like half that price, but it's a cool watch. Yeah, I'm talking about a power reserve indicator, but it has a lot more than that. Even though the name is power reserve. Now, the very best deal I found, this is on a brand new watch, is the Nomos Glashütte Tangent Power Reserve. This was brand new, $29.40. Now, the power reserve on that, they have a little peak hole at just off of 1 o'clock. And it's got this little red thing, and as the red thing grows, that means your time is running out. So anyway, that one is for around $3,000. These you can find some, I think, very cool alternatives. Now, on all of the expensive ones, not everybody can afford it or access it, even if they can afford it. So, thinking of alternatives, and it's not going to get, sort of junk diving for cheap watches. There are a lot of steps down price-wise. Anyway, I'd be very interested to hear what you think. If you have any of these, I'd like to hear about it. Or if you say, wait a minute, I think this would be another good one to add. Some people are going to say, oh, I can't believe you added this one, but that's okay too. It's an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection.